Hello friends. My name is May Shadowfax. I hope you're having a good day. Today, we're gonna make a tutorial video for the faction um, Isengard, the Urukai faction, the Urukai who are filled with armor. This video is gonna help you today by improving your Isengard start against other factions. Isengard is the tank armor. Uh, Tank units. They are filled with armor. Isengard units are filled with armor. First start is gonna be the normal start for Isengard. We're gonna build three furnaces, actually two furnaces and one Uruk pit, and then one furnace. We can start with Uruk-hai, or even we can start with Wildmen of Dunland. I recommend Wildmen of Dunland against spammy factions like Goblins. Goblins, Goblin Warrior can be everywhere harassing your farms, and you need Wildmen to stop that. On the version 9, Uruk Pit is very important. Uh, the version is changing. The version is changing by the community patch, so you need to adapt to what's happening. So Uruk-hai now they cost 350 from their original price for 400. We're gonna start with normal Uruk-hai warrior battalion and keep making more economy. We can now go for another battalion of crossbow after Uruk-hai warrior. We have four slaughter furnaces, and we're gonna defend if the enemy attacks us with a crossbow, and we will just attack with one Uruk-hai warrior. We don't know what the enemy is, but we can just watch it from here. It is Men of the West. Uruk-hai normally, okay, if the enemy starts with Lorien, Gondor Swordman, always go for the War Chant. It's stronger than, War Chant is stronger than the Crebain. Alright, now after 4 resource buildings, we go for Work Pit. Aggressive. Work Pit is, we will talk about it if we can start with Work Pit. Work Pit is a very important building against men, elves, and the dwarves even. We can harass the enemy with the Work Pack. But now we're focusing on the Uruk-hai. So we scout what the enemy are doing and we go for Work Pack. Work Pack are also made so we can counter the enemy swordmen and destroy their structures. This is what we're gonna do. We don't need to bother following the Lorien warrior. The Work Pack will follow and kill, and we can creep always. Always, it's very important to creep. So the Work Pack will deal with these Gondor soldiers, and we're gonna attack with other units. Combination of units is always very, very important, like making all kind of units. Pikemen, archers, Work Pack, swordmen. Alright. Isengard, in my opinion, it is a superior race versus Men of the West. Okay, the human got Gondor archers. We're gonna rally call this army and face him. Work Pack are gonna harass the farms, and we keep creeping. Meanwhile, creeping is very powerful tool, because with the creeping you can get money, and with the money you can get with the money heroes if you want, or maybe more pressured, more units. All right, and we have so many pikemen, and there are so many creep in this map. We will get advantage of them all. Always the crossbow behind and Uruk-hai in the front. Workpack can always also help us. So now we're gonna buy Sharkum to harass with the Workpack. Sharkum is great because he gives leadership to the Workpack, and in this way they're gonna become stronger. Shield wall formation on the Orokai. Actually, there are some problem here. They captured this in and making some Galadrim archers, but it's fine. As Isengard, I recommend always to buy this one to make the enemy weaker. You want the enemy to be weaker, so you can kill his units. All right, and after buying the Orok pit, a work pick, I mean a work pit, we get another Urukhai barracks. Uruk pit it's called. So the production of the work pack is faster. We need that. Okay, he's harassing us and okay, we need to send here this battalion. All right. So the work pack with Sharko are gonna work to destroy the enemy structures, and we're gonna get combination of Urukhai Packman and Urukhai Warrior. Alright. It is time to get transition into Warg Riders, and we keep expanding, and we should get also the hero. We should get the hero. It's always great to kill the builders if we can. We should get the hero Lurtz, and we can buy him so he can harass with the Urukhai. So Lurtz can harass with the Urukhai. Let's throw his building before he produces anything from it. Alright. We got 11 PowerPoint. I recommend this one, Tainted Land against elves and men and the dwarves to make your army stronger. Your Urukhai. And it also counters the elven wood against the elves. And we know that men of the west and elves and the dwarves, I mean, they have men of Dale and Mirkwood archers and rangers. So the Watcher is gonna be great to kill the archers for these factions, especially if they camp with a big army of archers. You know, Isengard weakness is archers. They don't have ranged archers like Mirkwood or Men of Dale. They have only crossbow and axe swords. So Watcher can deal with the archers army protected with the pikemen. Very, very important. Yeah. But we need this one, Tainted Land, first. We put it near barracks so we can destroy their buildings. Sharku was about to die to the tower guard. Orokai Pikeman will just kill the tower guard. Sharku will stay here just to give leadership for this work pack. His presence here gives double buff. We can go for axis throwers now. After two Uruk pits, after two Uruk pits, we go and one work pack. We go for the. He has Ethelian Rangers at home. We just send the Warg Riders to trample that. So you need literally every kind of unit. I recommend Berserkers versus Men of the West player also. Even before getting this clan steading, so you can kill their Gondor soldiers and tower guard with the Berserkers soldiers. This Berserker hero, I mean, he's not a hero, but he's really useful against Men of the West, elves, and against also dwarves. He's very useful. Okay. We go for accessories. At this point, I recommend Wildmen of Dunland to scout the tunnels of the dwarves because Wildmen disappear in the wood. So this way you can scout if the enemy having a dwarven tunnel. Okay, they can stealth near trees. Axors, they don't stealth near the trees. So berserkers and axors. And once we get rich, we go for Saruman. For Grim Wormtongue, Grimoire Wormtongue role is amazing. He's very, very important versus the forces of light because they have Ralik a leadership from Sudan King and Haldir's leadership, for example, or Batwagon. So, so the leadership is gonna be weaker if you have Grimoire Wormtongue. Okay, we have work pack, work riders. Okay, simply get all kind of units. At this point, as I said, it doesn't matter anymore. You can build whatever you want. What matters is the start and to be able to protect these three farms. Very, very important to protect these three farms. If you can't protect them all, at least protect two of them. With all you can. They are important and they give more command point and they give more resources, more command point and more resources, and this is what you need. We Sharko always with the warg pack and warg riders. Lurtz always with the Urukai. Sharko, his speed is the same as the speed of the warg riders. And Sharko and Lurtz's speed same as the speed of the Urukai. This is why every hero goes with some units. And yeah, this this is the first start of Isengard. You can start with um Isengard normal start. 2 furnaces and 1 Orok pit. What you can do against with Isengard also is to start with 2 furnaces and 1 work pit. Don't start the work pit very early because the work are you need to spam them and the work die very quickly. They are not very tanky unit. So what you'll need is to make, and we're gonna protect this farm by building this barracks around it like that, so it can be protected. Alright, this start is very popular from the warg pack of Isengard. You can harass the enemy's farms, killing the first battalion of soldiers, which harasses your base. And after that, you shouldn't stay on the work pack. You should do crossbow. Crossbow to kill the pikemen of the enemy, which might harasses your farm. It's like the enemy. This game is a brain mind game. If the enemy sees your pikeman, he will say, "Okay, I'm gonna send you pikeman." If you're having work pack, I'm gonna send you pikeman. But what you will do against the pikeman is get the crossbow, which is archers, and can kill the enemy a pikeman. Yes, Uruk-pit after only 3 furnaces. Because the players are not gonna hesitate in spamming pikemen against your farms. The enemy is now goblins, and he's making goblin archers. Let's get crossbow. Goblins don't have they don't have pikemen start. They don't have pikemen start. These warg are definitely gonna die to the tainted land. It's buffing the goblin, and goblin archers are strong already. Okay, let's just expand and get a crossbow will defend our home from the enemy. Whoa, the goblin archers are killing. Actually, warg are very, very sensitive versus versus the archers. They die versus poison even, and we don't have well as Isengard. So what we're gonna do is creep with the warg for now, and we will buy warg riders and the creep. This is what we're gonna do. We will creep with the warg and just wait for the better units. Yep. Work pit for the warg riders. Costs 500 resources. Creeping is very powerful. I recommend it always. Even you can creep with the warg pack. Warg pack can creep the warg lair, but they can't creep the troll lair. Okay. High warrior and warg riders. We're gonna creep with these and harass with the warg. Against players, human, wargs, harassment and running in their base makes them confused, like stressed. So even by running only with your warg riders around the enemy's base, it's gonna make them stressed, very very stressed they will be. This is start of the warg pack and warg rider works versus elves, men and the dwarves most of the time. Against goblins, I recommend. Um, I recommend against goblins rushing them with the Urukai or either buying clan steading. Clan steading. This one is the most important. Warg riders are not the ideal unless you go with Sharkum. Then he's gonna make the warg riders very very tanky. We will defend here. Alright. Berserkers are very bad versus goblins. Don't even recruit them versus goblins. Goblins, they have a spam. And spam can kill the berserkers. Alright. So, our plan is to send Sharko with the warg riders. But first we need to keep creeping troll as usual. As I said, the creeping is very very powerful. And we can harass. And they keep creeping. And we need the Sharku with the warg riders. Warg riders alone, especially against the goblins poison, is not very efficient. Warg riders die versus warg riders, and we can go for the war chant to make our Urukai tankier. These half troll swordmen are very very deadly. Okay, let's keep sending units. Keep creeping. We keep creeping. But we destroy his building first, so he doesn't produce anything. Okay, always build a wall hub. It's gonna protect your builder. Okay. Karko is the warg riders to trample. We creep this stuff. Oof, the pikemen are gonna definitely die here against the corsairs of Umbar. Goblins, Isengard against goblins is the hardest matchup you can ever find. Now we can go for one of these. I recommend going for Devastation, not the Tainted Land, because goblins can easily counter it with 5 power point of his spell book. So we're not gonna get the goblins. I'm not gonna get the Tainted Land. Okay. Let's just attack the farms. We need lords to make the Uruk-hai stronger, and wildmen and more command point always. So far our barracks are fine, but we can add more Uruk pit so we can have faster production for the Uruk-hai. Okay. Warg riders, use your howl. Warg riders are not the best unit versus the goblins, but we need them. Still, we need them. Uruk crossbow. Normally, goblin is superior over Isengard because of their spam. So we need to be careful. At the beginning, we should defend. The players should defend against against the goblins, and after that, after you defend, you gather a big army of Uruk-hai, and let's stay outside the Tainted Land. It's making the goblins stronger. Warg Riders are gonna eat the half trolls, swordmen, and we keep making more economy all the time because we need economy. Crossbow pikemen and wildmen of Dunland. We're gonna need to leave this tainted land as fast as possible. We got access to this black orc place. I mean tavern. It gives us a black orc. I mean it's not tavern, it's inn. These half trolls are so deadly. We need to trample the goblins with the warg riders, and the rest is gonna be killed by the Uruk-hai. As I said, the hardest faction for the Isengard is the goblins because of their spam. And Isengard, Men of the West, they deal with the spam easier by getting horses and by getting also let's now buy the clan setting level 2 so we can get axors. Lords, you're gonna go and fight with these. Alright. So what I was saying is the Isengard, let's get some lumber mill and go for, we can go either for the freezing rain or fuel of fire. Fuel of fire is the strongest tool between all of these against any other faction, but against forces of evil it's better because you need power and pressure and killing enemy units versus forces of light from this pathway. This fuel of fire is the best of all others if you can get it, and just get more economy because it gives you incredible amount of resources. So you're gonna be businessman. It's like Saruman is gonna be the richest guy. You can recruit whatever you want with fuel of fire. Sharku is killing the spider riders. Black orc are gonna kill the half trolls. More warg riders, and they will go always with Sharku, the warg riders. Should send units from pathway to defend our farms, and always more economy. I forgot to mention that that you should make the lumber mill. You should make the lumber mill very early, not at this point. You like after 5 furnaces, you can start making one of the of the lumber mill, so it levels up. Warg Riders normally lose versus Spiderlings, but now they have leadership from Sharku, and they have a Howl, and that's gonna make them win against the Spiderlings. Alright. More economy and more units. Oh, he went for the darkness. Okay, in this case, if the enemy goes for the darkness, always go for the freezing rain. So you can remove this darkness, making all of his units on the map much stronger. So what you need to do is counter it by the freezing rain, which makes all the enemy's units weaker. Much weaker. We keep harassing with Sharpum and countering the enemy units with lures and the crossbow. Now we go for the freezing rain to make you see this violet color on his units. They are very weak now, his unit, and we can now get armor because we will be very rich from the fuel of fire. At this point, if you have lots of money, you can go for fuel. I mean, if you can go for armor. Okay, spider riders are gonna kill our crossbow, but pikemen will defend. And look at the spellbook of Isengard, filled with a resource stuff, a resource gathering. All right, we can now go for Saruman. Saruman is very important. and also Grimont. At this point, it's not gonna matter. You can start with anything you want. Okay, you can start with anything you want at this point. You can do anything. And half trolls are not strong anymore because you can also put these on auto. Sharko is gonna eat one of the units and he's gonna regenerate his HP. Yeah, our command point should be always 1000 and it's about to reach 1000. We attack from all sides and yeah, the game is over. The game is over. Yeah, Isengard is very strong late game if you have the Fuel of Fire. Because you're just gonna have as much as you want from the from the resources. You're gonna be very, very rich with the resources. Alright. I like Isengard. I like Isengard. Very amazing faction and rich at the same time. Isengard will prevail. The Isengard faction, they have strong units and strong economy. I recommend Isengard, but you should be campy at the start, okay? Against goblins. You should not go and spam units and send your units to the enemy base. You should be a little bit campy uh, against goblins and aggressive versus elves and and Angmar. You should also be aggressive. We will talk about this later. Let's try to finish this fortress. Alright. And we can buy some forge blades and banner for these units so they can get stronger. Banner normally you buy it to save the battalion and to give it a heal over time. It regenerates the member. But this one, it's gonna deal. It's gonna make the unit deal lots of damage. And you should buy it if you have lots of money. I don't recommend it when you're poor because you will lose your if you lose your battalion, you're gonna lose the resources you invested in this. And you can always go for this one, burning forges decreases the price of the Uruk-hai armor which you're gonna buy. And Dragon Strike, I recommend also Dragon Strike is between these two 25 power point. Summoning this Dragon Strike is perfect versus Forces of Light because the dragon might be killed by, for example, Mirkwood Archers, Ithilien Rangers, Men of the West, Men of Dale, also Gimli, and King Brand from the Dwarves. The Archer hero, he has level 7 Beast Slayer arrow. It also hurts this dragon. So when you summon Dragon Strike, this will burn stuff and he's not gonna die and the game is over. Yeah, okay, we talked about the warg pack start and we talked about the normal start. Now I'm gonna show you one of the recent start. This wasn't a thing in the past. This start in version 9, 2.02 version 9. It wasn't a thing in the past. What you do is get very early furnace and one Uruk pet very early. Like now this one works. In the past it didn't work. Why? Because the Uruk-hai are now cheaper. Like they were 400, now they are 350. And 400 battalion of Uruk-hai isn't really cheap. But 350, it can be affordable if you go and creep some Wargler or maybe Troller. Yeah, so 350, we creep this place here, Wargler, and then We harass the enemy. It's like swordman and Urukai pikeman. This deals lots of damage, especially if you buff it with the war chant. Uh, I'm also gonna talk about these 3 PowerPoint. Against a human and the players, you should scout with your Caribbean to see what the enemy is doing. If some players go for horses start like Men of the West, and this start is perfect versus Men of the West horses. Actually, this start works versus anything. You can defend Gondor soldiers with it. If the enemy starts with Gondor soldiers, you would be creeping, and you would also be defending yourself with the Urukai swordman. Okay. This is an aggressive start, we can call it. Meanwhile, you're creeping, and I mention this one more time. Creeping is very, very powerful in this game. Creeping is very powerful. Like you should. Okay, he's harassing us with Lorien Warrior. So what we will do is defend ourselves with the Uruk-hai, and we will creep ourselves with Uruk-hai pikemen. Uruk-hai are stronger than Lorien Warrior. We have 3 lines of warriors, while the Lorien Warrior have only 2 lines. Crossbow is always important to defend even better. Now, this is gonna be a push where we have so many battalions. The ideal is to send 1 pikeman, 1 swordman, because the pikeman can cover members to protect 1 battalion. But we can also send 2, it's fine. If you can micro well, sending more is not a problem. Now we can go for the Warg Riders. Against elves, Warg Riders or Warg Pack are important as well. Now this start will hurt him so much. You see how much damage these Uruk-hai are dealing? We can destroy many farms of the enemy and even barracks if we want. And the enemy doesn't have any horses, so we don't have to keep all the units together. The enemy doesn't have horses. We are gonna destroy these farms. Barracks as well. And Warg Riders we're gonna buy. Mistone sentries are gonna be killed by our crossbow at home. You see the power of the Uruk-hai? They're like the dwarves, they destroy buildings. And the crossbow is defending here. I love the Uruk-hai. We lost the Uruk pit, but that's fine. We can rebuild it. And we should defend these 2 farms. They should never die. Oh, we lost one of the farms. This was unfortunate. Come on, crossbow, finish it so we can build. We need to rebuild the farm here. Actually, this farm we should protect now, not the other one, because this farm is still level 2. It's gonna reach level 2 very soon. And Lurtz is always perfect versus the elves. Alright, we're not gonna continue this, but the Uruk pit very early start, it's very, very effective versus a human. And elves, and even a dwarves. It works versus dwarves even. What can we also talk about the start and build order of these units? So I recommend getting 2 furnaces and then 1 orc pit. This is the ideal start. And go with the Crebain and scout against the enemy who are Mordor and goblins. You need to see if the goblin is making spiderlings or goblin warrior. You need to scout, guys, with the Crebain. War chant is gonna be against dwarves and men and elves. So always pick the war chant versus men, dwarves, and elves. and the Crebain for the evil forces like Angmar, Mordor, goblins. Um, Isengard mirror is always, I think, about the work pack start, like two furnaces and one work pack start, and then one furnace and then one Uruk pit. This is the build order between Isengard and another Isengard. So you attack with the work pack and you defend with the crossbow. This is really perfect a match. Isengard versus another Isengard, and because they don't have archers, so you need to rely on the melee fighters like Deathbringers, Berserkers, and Saruman plays big role in this. Uh, okay, that's it. I covered, I think, everything concerning Isengard. Isengard is a very powerful faction, and you should be aggressive at the start against men, elves, and dwarves, while defensive against spammy faction at the beginning like Goblin or Mordor. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope I gave you some ideas about the start of Isengard. Have a good day, and bye bye.